Welcome to It's a Small World for All, recipes and thanks to Middle East Antrim's Embrace project of events. We're going to start cooking soon, but just to let you know that in the description below the video will be all the recipes that you'll be able to enjoy then at home. I'm very pleased to be here. I'm Portia Woods of Toast to Coast Food Experiences, and I'm delighted to host Rob Curley from Slemish Market Supper Club. We're going to be cooking some fantastic recipes today, but it's not all about traditional food, but using our local ingredients to explore the world. Rob, give us an idea of what we're going to be cooking today.
Hi Portia. Yes, today we're going to be cooking a lovely dish from Afghanistan called lamb Kabuli Pulaf. So it's basically a lamb stew with little subtle spices, nothing spicy, but just flavoursome spices in with a lovely rice dish with some saffron and carrots and raisins through it. So sweet and it's almost sweet and sour kind of flavours. It's really perfect dish for now in winter for a family meal.
Lovely, something to warm the heart.
Yes, it's definitely something to warm the heart. It's a beautiful dish, really flavoursome, full of flavour, and using quality ingredients that we have here in Mid-Eastern Antrim, and then lovely spices and beautiful vegetables that we have as well.
Fantastic. We'll get started then.
Okay, so first we're going to start off with, we've beautiful Glenarm Reds Park lamb. So this is lamb shank. So it's a beautiful cut of meat on the bone for extra flavour. So we're out looking at the mountain range here now at the moment, and beautiful lamb that's so much flavour in it. So we're going to heat the pan up to the highest we can, and we're going to get some nice colour into the lamb. So we want it nice and brown, so it releases all the flavours and adds depth of colour and flavour. So we add some rapeseed oil into the pan and get it nice and hot. So it's beautiful lamb, lots of flavour. So using the shank that has the bone connected to it, and the marrow inside will release all the flavours into the sauce. So,
and of course this lamb in particular from the Glens of Antrim.
Yes.
Glenarm, they have to work really hard at the top of the hills. So it's a great piece of lamb to have.
Yeah, it's a beautiful lamb with lots of flavour. So it's eating all the natural fauna from Glenarm and from the hills of Antrim. So, and it's getting the salty air and the salt off the fauna as well from the sea coming in. So you're getting, it's almost curing the lamb as well. So
indeed, yeah, very good.
Yeah, so it's really excellent lamb. And a little goes a long way. With this dish will do for a family of 4 to 5.
Family of 4,
yeah,
fantastic, yeah.
It's really good. So we get a nice colour, so to brown off the meat. You want that? Is that right? So we're going to just salt the lamb, nice generous salt to add more flavour, and the lamb is nicely colouring up, so it gets nice colour on all the sides. So your nice caramelised pieces of lamb. So that adds the depth of flavour to the finished dish. Right, so next, while we're browning off the lamb, we're going to do the vegetables. So we have beautiful onions, and we have garlic, and we're just going to peel and chop the onion. Take all the layers off. So beautiful onions, the basis of every dish pretty much is onion. So we're just going to just roughly chop the onion. So the lamb is really nice and browned. You can see the colour, great colour out of it. Beautiful lamb, nice and browned and golden in colour. Beautiful lamb flavour. So we're just going to take that from the pan and place it into a casserole dish and just to rest. And then we start off with the rest of the ingredients. So we have our onions, and they go into the pan, into the same pan as the lamb. So we have all the flavours of the lamb, and we want a nice darkened colour from the onions. A little bit more oil. So we peel the garlic, and then it's going to be sliced. Just a good way of opening up garlic. Just a little bang, so you release the garlic clove from the skin. And the onions are browning nicely. So the onions will take 4 or 5 minutes to brown to get a nice colour off them. The garlic cloves, just sliced as thin as possible. The thinner you cut the garlic, the more garlicky flavour it will be. Onions are getting nice and coloured and taking the harshness of the onion out, so it's nice and it's turning nice and sweet.
The smell's even sweeter now, it's great.
Yeah, there's a natural sweetness of onions. And then we put the 4 cloves of garlic. Seems like a lot, but it will mellow down once it's cooking away. So you want to fry that off gently as well. Then we have all of our spices. So we have beautiful spices here. So we have turmeric. So all the spices are going to go in. We have beautiful turmeric. We have cumin powder. It's almost like a curry powder. We have black cardamom. These are all the spices of Afghanistan. It's not really chili heat spices. It's more mellowy, kind of savoury.
Mellow and earthy and
black
warm.
pepper, sugar, and salt, and some tomato puree. So, and that's to be the background flavours of this dish. So we add the tomato puree into the dish. So it just goes in.
Great store cupboard ingredients of spices, that you can then use during the weekend or...
Yeah, and if you don't have these spices at home, you can replace them to what you have, or...
Yeah.
No. So the tomato puree just adds background and body. And then we add the cumin powder. So it's very, it's almost curry smell off to it.
Yeah.
It's really full of flavour. So the cumin goes in, the turmeric, which is going to give a real body, real golden colour. Mm-hmm. And black pepper for a bit of heat.
Cumin can be quite hard for the body to absorb the benefits of it, and cooking it with black pepper helps the absorption. I learned that from a nutritionist recently.
That sounds interesting. Yes, very good. No. And then we have black cardamom powder. So lovely, lovely spice as well.
Just the colours in there already, isn't it?
Yeah, it's beautiful, nice golden colours.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to release the flavours of the spices as well.
Is that with that gentle heat?
With the gentle heat, yeah, and the onions are going to absorb all that. Mm-hmm. And then we have sugar, a little bit of sugar. And then some salt, just to season it. So you can smell the smells from the pan now is absolutely amazing. And the spices are releasing their gentle oils. So we turn up the heat. So we get the lamb and reintroduce it back to the pan, into the spices, and then any juices that are left in that pan from the meat resting, just reintroduce them again. Thanks, Portia. So, and then we add water. So add water, bring it to the boil.
The smell is just so inviting.
Yeah, it's really, really good. So all them flavours are combining together. So we're going to bring the lamb to the boil, the pan to the boil with all the spice stock and the lamb, and then we put it into the oven, into a casserole dish, and cook it for an hour and 45 minutes at 180 degrees, and nice and slow, so all the marrow from the bones, and the bones will soften and release all their flavours into the sauce, and the sauce will thicken up slightly, and there you have the sauce. It's all in one pan there. It's nice and beautiful. So
sounds like an ideal dish for a Saturday or Sunday morning.
Yeah, it's a perfect.
Out for a walk.
Yeah.
Back in and ready to devour by the family.
So we have the beautiful lamb there, and it's in the stock, boiling away, bubbling away. So then we add the lamb to the casserole dish. So beautiful lamb into the casserole dish, place it all the way down, and then we're going to add the beautiful stock all over the lamb. So all the juices, all the onions, the garlic, the spices, and it goes on top of the lamb. So we have the beautiful lamb, and it's going to go straight into the oven at 180 degrees for about an hour and 45 minutes, just to check until it's tender, really falling apart off the bone, and that will, all the meat juices will go into the sauce and thicken it up slightly and be full of flavour. So go straight into the oven. Okay, so we have beautiful carrots here, a staple of winter here. So we're going to make a lovely carrot garnish for the lamb Kabuli Pulao. So we have beautiful carrots, just going to top and tail them. And this is like the sweet and sour element. So we have the lamb.
Sorry.
Oh no, I'm going to use that.
Oh, sorry.
And we peel the carrots. So I like to, if I'm making carrots and using anything from carrots or onions, and I like to keep the peelings and all that, because and make stock out of the peelings. You can throw it into a freezer bag, put it all together once you have loads of it there, and there's instant vegetable stock. Just throw it into a pan with a little bit of water, and you're not wasting anything, you're using everything up, and you get vegetable stock for soups or sauces or whatever you want. We're going to get the carrots, and we have a spiralizer here, and we'll just place it in, and we're going to make, hopefully, carrot spaghetti. So we have the beautiful carrot, and what we're going to do is put on a little pan, and we're going to cook them. So, in a pan, we're going to put a bit of butter into the pan, just like a tablespoon and a half of good salted butter. And we have some sugar, and we have raisins, and a little bit of salt, and we have some sesame oil. So beautiful sesame oil is a really distinct popular flavour in Afghanistan. It's real nutty, so a little bit goes a long way. It's so powerful, but it really enhances dishes. So we have the butter. It's just melting a bit. So we will have the butter melting. We'll add the sugar. And the sugar is going to caramelize a bit. Yes, please. Thank you. So into the butter and the sugar, you add a little bit of salt to balance the sweetness out. Then we add the raisins, and they will plump up in and get softer with the butter and the sugar. They're getting really, really nice and juicy and plump. So they're plumping it up, and then we add our carrot string. So straight into the raisins and butter. And we're just going to slightly cook it out. It doesn't need much because the carrot is so thin. It's so thin. It's really, the flavours are really nice.
It smells really good.
Yeah. So we're going to use this as the garnish to the lamb. And then we just add a little bit of sesame seed oil. And you can smell the real nutty flavour of the lamb, or of the carrots. And that is us. And then the carrot with the raisins, butter and sugar just goes into a little pan, and that's been left to the side then for when we're ready to go, when we're ready to plate up. That can be just left. Now if you don't have a spiralizer, you can cut the carrots up into matchsticks. And when you cook them up into matchsticks, you just done the same way, cooked the exact same way, and just leave it to the side. So it's nice and it's all ready to go there. And then we're going to have, we're going to cook our rice. So we have rice. So pan of boiling water and basmati rice, beautiful basmati rice. And we just pour the rice in.
That's all I would do with that then.
Yes.
And then have it ready.
It's going to take 12 minutes to cook. A little bit of salt, and just until it's cooked. So while the rice is cooking, we have this beautiful spice from Afghanistan, saffron. It's beautiful, from the locust flower, and it's full of flavour, and it's going to turn. We're going to use the beautiful flavour and of it to flavour the rice and colour the rice. So we're going to add lukewarm water to bloom it, and just like a teaspoon of water, and then leave it in the saffron, and it will change the colour to a golden colour. So we're going to go look on the lamb. So after an hour and 45 minutes, the lamb should be nice and tender, fork tender, and the sauce should be really, really rich and intense and glossy. So really, really, if the sauce is too thick or too thin, just strain off some of the sauce and reduce it down in a pan, in a hot pan, just to reduce it down at a high heat until it gets to a sauce consistency. So to coat the back of a spoon. So this is beautiful, nice and tender, and beautiful smells and flavours from it. So we're going to plate up. So we have our Basmati rice, and we have our saffron, and we are just going to plate up. So we have Basmati rice, we have our lamb, we have our carrot and raisins and sugar and butter, and we have beautiful pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, and flaked almonds, just to go on top. So into a large serving bowl, this is going to be shared between a family of 4 people, and we put our rice into the center of the plate, and the rice is you're going to use that as a bed to hold the lamb. So put a little center hole in the center.
That's normally where you separate the champ to put your Pulaf butter.
Yes, that's it. So you need the pool of butter for your champ. So then we have our lamb. So beautiful lamb shanks. So in beautiful, the sauce is amazing. So the lamb goes in the center. And then we have the amazing sauce. And we just glaze that over. So you have all the onions, all the spices, the garlic, the tomato puree, all really intense flavors, but to match the rice. So we have our saffron water, and we're going to use that. See, it's the way it's bloomed out, it's got softened, and it's turned the water to gold, so it's like liquid gold. Beautiful. So we're going to use that just to dress around the rice.
The smell is fantastic.
Yeah, I'll just colour the rice and just give it another dimension flavour. So it's really nice. And then we got our carrot and raisins. So just dress that around the plate. So you can see that they're really striking colours. And then not to waste anything, to use the juice to flavour the rice. So it's almost like sweet and sour in a way. The raisins are like little jewels.
Yeah.
And then we have some sesame seeds. So sprinkle the sesame seeds around the lamb. Pumpkin seeds for a crunch. And then flaked almonds.
Don't know about sharing it between 4. I might be able to manage that myself.
It'll definitely do. Yes, it can be for 1 person or 4 people, but it's about the sharing as well, because you're having a little bit of lamb, the sauce, and the carrots and the rice and the raisins, and it's just dig in. So there we go. That's our lamb Kabuli Pulao, our Afghan dish for embrace. So a beautiful Glenarm Red Park lamb with the pilaf rice, with the raisins, the sauce, and the nuts and seeds. So it's a beautiful, tasty dish for the family to dig in.
South Asian chili beef is what we're going to make next, Rob.
Yes, it's we've chosen South Asian chili beef because it's really quick dish to do in midweek or as a lunchtime dish or a dinner dish, or you can make it for feed a family for using up all the bits of vegetables that you have and sauces and stuff like that.
Good way to add in your veg
Yes.
portions as well as having the chili beef as well.
Yeah, and beautiful beef. We've some amazing beef there for today. And so it's going to be really quick and really amazing, really tasty. All right, so we have beautiful beef here. So you want a lean cut of beef like sirloin or fillet, because it's going to be cooked really quickly. So we have the beef there, and we're going to cut it really thinly. So this is from the sirloin of beef, so it's really tender because you're going to be cooking it. So we're going to just cut it into like thin strips, really thin. So as you can see, really thin, because it's going to be flash fried really quickly.
Just as we discussed earlier about the seasonal veg and the high quality, it's the same for our beef products.
Yeah, we have some of the most amazing beef in the world, from our beautiful pastures that's feeding off the grass, and a lot of top restaurants and chefs want to use Irish beef and beef from here, from Northern Ireland, and so it's just, and the quality is amazing.
And we've an interesting story just in Hillstown, just outside of Ballymena.
Yes, they have some amazing beef there that is fed on beer, and it's a Wagyu type of beef that's fed on the beer that they make in house, and it makes the beef more tender. And in Japan, the Wagyu beef started off where they fed them sake, so it's like a fermented rice spirit, like a rice wine, and they played classical music and gave them massages.
Yes, I believe Nigel is still massaging the cattle here in Hillstown as well.
Beautiful beef, the sirloin of beef, just cut into strips and really thin. You can use tougher cuts of beef, like stewing beef or whatever, but it has to be cooked. If you cook it down beforehand and then let it cool down and then add it to the stir fry, but not, you couldn't add it from raw because it needs time to cook out and relax. We're going to make a little batter for our beef. So we have 2 eggs. And we're going to use the egg whites. So crack the whites. We just want the whites. And we have the egg white. And we have some corn flour. Self-raising flour, and Chinese 5 spice. So it's beautiful spices, 5 different spices. That's typical of Chinese cooking. That's very aromatic, and it just coats the beef and just gives it a background heat or background flavour of the dishes. And we have our vegetables. So it's all about the preparation, so as much preparation that you can have done beforehand. So like slicing the beef, having your vegetables sliced, that it makes it quicker. So the quicker you have. So we've beautiful cabbage. And slice the cabbage down. So look at all the beautiful layers of the cabbage.
Sometimes that can put people off from cooking when they read a recipe, you know, realising maybe to prepare ahead will help them out when it comes to the actual cooking part.
Yeah, it's making it easier. So if you could have the prep done beforehand, that you just come in from work or whatever,
Yes.
and just you have a quick stir fry done in minutes for your whole family done, and then you can sit down, relax, and eat and have everybody else do the washing up after.
Exactly.
So we'll take the core out of the cabbage. So like cabbage is another good staple for the winter time, that it's abundant, it's cheap, it's nutritious, and it's really, really quick to cook when it's done in stir fries like this. So we'll just cut the cabbage really thinly. So the thinner you cut it, the quicker it'll cook.
So you're cutting everything small into a similar size.
Everything
so
is, yes,
speed.
exactly, yes.
Very good.
So there's no point in having really, really fine diced or sliced beef, and you have big chunky vegetables and all that, because they'll all cook at different times. It'll take longer and longer, and then it'll end up stewing, and that's what you want. Stir fry is quick food. So beautiful cabbage sliced. And that's one little bit of cabbage, and it's made a lot of portions out of it.
It has indeed. And then if I was vegetarian and wanted to adapt the recipe, Rob, I can leave out the beef, obviously, and increase my leafy veg.
Yes. Take away the beef, add in more leafy veg, like you can add broccoli, you can add spinach even at the very, very end.
Very end, okay.
So we have beautiful Brussels sprouts. So the sprouts that they're not just for Christmas. Not just for Christmas. So beautiful Brussels sprouts that are amazing and nutritious, and they're really good way doing this, stir frying them. That people think it's just you just boil them and until they're brown or whatever, but no, leave them. You want the fibre of them. So again, cutting them really thinly, and they cook in no time once they're like this, cut really thinly.
You make it look easy, Rob. Bit of practice there, I think.
A few fingers cut in the meantime. But yeah, no, Brussels sprouts is an amazing little vegetable. It can be made into lots of different things. Even I've made it into Brussels sprouts cake, the sweet, and Brussels sprouts soup, and it's really nice.
It's one of the things that first caught my attention of the Slemish Market Supper Club, was your dedication to inventing the extraordinary recipe. And the first time I went to your supper club was just amazing what you created out of the unexpected.
Yeah, we're using everything that we have in our area. That's amazing, that we're so proud of, and the farmers and producers are so proud of, and we just want to justify and make the humble ingredient into the star of the show, which it is. It's amazing produce that we have here in our area, and we want to jump about and showcase it and have everybody amazed at what we do with their produce. So we have the spring onions, so beautiful spring onions again. So you're getting the onion hit, take the ends off, and we're going to again cut them at an angle, but again the same way, same thickness as the cabbage and the sprouts, because it's quick. We don't want big chunky pieces of spring onion. And like spring onion is synonymous with Asian food and stir fries, and because it's milder taste of onion than onion. Then we have our white onion. And just peel that. So with stir fries, it's all about layering. So you're layering all the flavors and learning, so that the harder the vegetable or the protein will go in first, and then onions and all that take a bit longer to cook, and then the lesser ones like the spring onions will go near at the end. That's what we want, is full of flavor and different textures.
Yes, and your softest, the spinach, if you wanted to add it at the end.
Yeah, right.
It'll just wilt in.
Right at the very end. So yeah, we have beautiful produce at the moment that can be used, and if you don't have any of these vegetables, you can substitute them out for stuff that you have, peppers or broccoli or carrot, and the carrot the same way, cut it down thinly the same way, and then we have some garlic. So we have beautiful garlic, and just to flavour the dish.
And great at this time of year in particular, garlic and ginger to help fight off the colds.
Yes. And we have the garlic, and then we have ginger. So ginger, the spicy root vegetable. So we'll just take a bit off that and peel it down. And it's a good aromatic to flavour the stir fry. Okay, so we're almost done with our prep.
Quite often if I'm making a recipe, I'd be left with some ginger and I cut it up into cubed portions and freeze it in the freezer wrapped in some cling film. It's very handy to lift out, and you're not wasting it then, because if you leave it in the fridge,
yes,
it just ends up going off.
It just goes. Yeah, or a little. It can be grated into even smoothies, or it's really good. Or into soup. Carrot and ginger soup is an amazing soup that is full of flavour. And again, a little goes a long way with ginger. So we have our vegetables all done. Okay, so to make the South Asian beef sauce is a really simple sauce with just 3 ingredients. So we have orange juice. So all the staples that you'd have in your house, just orange juice. Pour that into a little bowl. We have soy sauce. And into the orange juice, we have vinegar. And we have chili sauce. So just chili sauce into so everything is all together. So we have our sauce there made. So everything mixed in together. Really nice. And just get a spoon and just mix it through. So that's our sauce. So it's full of flavour, fresh. It's really fresh with the orange juice, and salty with the soy sauce, and then a little bit of a kick from the chili sauce. So you can use sweet chili or like sriracha or dried chilies, whatever you want, whatever your preference. If you like it mild, you can put less in, or if you want it hotter, you can put more in.
And could you make that ahead and keep it in a little jam jar or something?
Oh yes, yeah, that could.
Perfect.
You can make loads of that. That'll last for weeks in the fridge.
Oh, very good.
Yes, so you can take it out. So if you want to make this your weekly dinner, or whatever, a Tuesday or Monday night dinner, or whatever, that you can just have a bottle of that, make a big load of it, and you just quick. There you go. So then we're going to go with the beef. So we have our egg white. I'll just get a fork. Oh, sorry. Right. A whisk, and whisk up our egg whites. So whisk them up till they get really frothy. So almost you're getting the stage where you're making meringue. And this just to make it batter, to make it really nice and light. So it's nice and frothy. It's almost like a meringue, except we're not putting sugar into it. So Then we add our Chinese 5-spice, goes in. Our corn flour. And self-raising flour. And whisk it up a bit more. Oh. Can I just, all right. Okay, then we add some of our beef. So we're just going to coat our beef into the batter. So you can smell all the different spices from the cinnamon and cloves and star anise from the. So it's just like a batter, like a coating, but it's going to be really, really fresh tasting and quick. So we have our pan, and we're going to add some oil.
Is that at a medium heat or high?
That is a high heat because we want to seal it in
as quick as we can.
As quick as we can to get a lot of heat into it, so it gets like crispy, almost crispy. So we add the beef in little strips into the hot pan. So the beef goes in, and we're going to seal it off. And just when the pan hits that oil and the heat, you can get all the flavors of the beef. You can smell the spices, and it's really, really aromatic. So you want the beef to kind of crisp up, and it's going to cook 3/4 of the way through. And then we'll take it off and cook the vegetables, and then reintroduce the beef back in, and then add the sauce. So you can see that it's puffing up.
Oh yes, I see what you mean. It is like a little batter.
Yeah, that's a beautiful batter. So we have the beef pieces coated in the batter, the Chinese 5-spice batter, and it's just stir fried away off, so it's nice crispy. It's 3/4 of the way cooked through. But so we just take that out of the pan, and it'll go into a little bowl, and just to rest till we start the next part of the stir fry is our vegetables. Add a little bit more oil, and then we add our vegetables. So the ones that take the longest is our onions. So add our onions, our white onions. Into the pan. And then they're going to take up the flavours of the Chinese 5-spice as well.
Yeah, you can still smell it cooking.
Yeah, it's really good. And then we add our ginger. And our cabbage. And you're just moving everything around really quickly. You can see the cabbage wilting down already.
It's not taking long at all.
No, it's not taking long. And then we add our garlic.
Such a healthy dish that can be made at home, as you said, every week.
And then our Brussels sprouts pieces. And everything, you can see everything is cut pretty much similar, all the same shape. And we add a little bit of salt. And if you need to taste, if you think these are Brussels sprouts, or if your cabbage isn't cooked enough, you can take a little piece and have a little taste. And if it needs a little bit more, cook it a little bit more. But we're almost there. And then we're going to reintroduce the beef. And then our spring onions. So you can smell the beautiful flavours. Everything is wilting down really nicely. And this will finish off the beef, the cooking of the beef.
Fantastic colours, how the green has
Yeah,
been
the
tamed.
green. It's beautiful greens.
Because you cooked it so fast.
Yep. It's really, really quick, and again, it's all the preparation. Once you have the vegetables cut and the beef cut and your sauce made and all that, you're
ready to go.
You're ready to go. It's quick. And then we add our sauce. So we have the sauce, and when the sauce goes into the stir fry, and the sauce hits the beef that's coated in the corn flour and self-raising flour and the Chinese white spice, it will thicken up the sauce.
Okay.
So it makes the sauce glossy and thick. So you can really smell.
Yeah, it smells really good.
A little extra heat if you'd like, a little bit of fresh chili. Okay, so we have beautiful dish, and we've made some noodles beforehand. So we've beautiful noodles and the stir fry. And just place some chilies if you want extra heat. This can be optional, or you don't have to.
Mm-hmm. Great colours.
Yeah, full of the greens and the red of the chili. So we've got beautiful Asian beef stir fry.
Our next dish, Rob, then you've picked specially because you had a special event last October in Valencia. Tell us where you were and what you were doing.
Yes, this is the last dish, a really special dish. That's it's a carrot steak paella. So last October I represented Ireland at the World Paella Championships in Valencia in Spain. So I was picked out of 48 chefs from all around the world to represent Ireland in this prestigious competition in Spain, in Valencia. And I did my paella was a taste of Ireland, from north, south, east, west. So it was a Guinness and oyster paella with Guinness and burnt onion stock with seaweed from Rathlin Island, kelp. And we had deep fried oysters in crispy oats. And then the oyster shells were served on the plates, and I had them painted with pints of Guinness and shamrocks and harps and all that. So everybody, when they got their oyster, they ate the oyster, and then there was the shamrock or whatever. And then for the head of the Guinness, we made it an oyster and Guinness foam. So you have to have your head of the Guinness, and then some scallions on top as well. So it was really, really, really tasty dish, and a really, really great competition. That was so there was 10 chefs in the final. It was all televised live, and really, really good.
Brilliant.
So we learned all about paella and all the different rices and stuff like that.
And this is a traditional dish that you would use at home if you were going to make it.
Yes, so this
As
is
a
a
family,
paella
yeah.
pan, and traditionally paella in Valencia would be a Sunday dish. So it'd be like Sunday dinner, our Sunday dinner. They would have paella. So they'd have traditional paella would be chicken or rabbit, and with vegetables and legumes, so beans and stuff like that, and the rice. So it's all about the rice. It's the rice. The rice has
It's
to
the
be.
hero of the dish.
Yes, it's their national dish. It's the most Googled dish in the world.
Brilliant.
Paella.
Well, we're lucky that you're going to show us how to make one that we can do at home with an ordinary pan.
Yes, we can't cook on the Paella pan, but we will cook on a normal pan and show you how to make this wonderful dish. So we start off with the rice. We have this beautiful rice called bomba rice. So all the rice pieces are in the shape of like a barrel shape. Really, really beautiful rice. So it will take up all the flavors of the stock, and that's what it's about. The stock, your stock has to be so much flavor, and it has to be a star. Brilliant stock. So we have the bomba rice, and it's going to be amazing. But if you don't have bomba rice, you can get it in supermarkets, in most supermarkets now, the bomba rice. But if you can't find it, you can use risotto rice, or rice pudding rice, with short grain rice pudding rice. So we're going to have this beautiful rice, and then we have saffron, to flavor the rice and the stock. Beautiful saffron with its pungent smell. And we have smoked paprika. We have some star anise. We have beautiful carrots, our onions, garlic, some lemon, and beautiful olive oil from Valencia. So first we want to make our broth. So our, as they call it in Spain, our caldo. So our broth to cook the rice in. So first we start off with carrots. So I'll just put on the saucepan into the heat. So first we're going to make our caldo, our broth. So we have beautiful carrots, and I'm just going to take the ends off the carrots. And once they're well cleaned, we don't need to peel them. I'm just going to cut them really, really thinly. So we have the carrots sliced, and we have some onion. Peel the onion. So the basis of just like a vegetable stock. So cut that really thinly as well. And nothing is big chunky pieces, all the same. And then we have our garlic. So garlic is the basis of everything.
These three ingredients are very common and quite easy to grow in an allotment or small garden.
Yes, the carrots and the onions are really easy.
Yeah, very much
the garlic, a lot of people are starting to grow garlic now as well. They're really, really good, and they have their seasons, and you can get the garlic scapes in springtime that are almost like asparagus. They're really, really good. And then we're coming into the season of wild garlic as well. that is really good, that's grown in the hedges, and so
This could be a good dish to try out then with your allotment.
yes, totally. This is a dish that you can use if you don't want to make the stock. You can use vegetable stock, a vegetable stock cube or whatever, but you just want the pure flavor of the carrots. I mean, it's the showcase. The showcase is the carrot. So we're going to start off with some little bit of oil, olive oil, good olive oil.
It's good of you to share it with
The
us.
basis of every good paella is the olive oil. And then we add in our carrots and onions. And we want to sweat this down a little bit to extract all the flavour from it. We add our garlic. And then we add star anise. So star anise is aniseed flavour. Goes really well with carrots. But it also, because this is a vegetarian dish, we want to make a carrot steak, so it adds a meaty background to the carrot with its mellow flavours of anise. So we add 4 or 5 pieces of sour anise, and then we'll give it a good stir. And we just want to sweat it down a little bit to extract all the flavour. So we have carrots, and larger carrots. I'm just going to top and tail them. And peel them. So this is going to be like a braised carrot steak for the top of the paella. So nice and peeled, and we can add then the carrot trimmings to that as well. So we give it more flavour.
No waste.
No waste.
Perfect.
Then we add some salt. And we add the carrot steaks to the pan. I'm just going to give a nice little colour, just extracting the flavour out of them.
How am I doing, chef?
Huh?
How am I doing?
You're doing very good, very good. So then we add water. So we add water to the pan. The water goes to the pan just to cover over the carrot steaks and the carrot pieces. And then we bring it to the boil and then let it simmer. So with the carrot steaks inside it, and we want the carrot steaks to simmer and cook nice and gently, so they're really, really soft, and they will be so flavoursome and tender. So we want them to turn out like this. So it's cooked. It's full of flavour. It's got all the flavour of the carrots, the onions, the star anise. But it's like it's going to be a carrot steak. So we're going to treat it like a steak. We're going to roast it off nicely in the pan, get a nice colour on it, salt, and really have it really glazed and beautiful. So we have, this is then, and that will take about 45 minutes, and just keep the stock warm. So you can smell the lovely flavours from it at the moment. And that can be a basis used for soup or whatever as well. So in the end we get left with this beautiful, rich, umami carrot stock, full of flavour. Really, really full of flavour. Have rice there, or caldo, and then we're going to start off with the rice. And we take out our carrot stick, and with the carrot stock, it needs to be warm and still warm and hot. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our paella. So we need onion. So we're going to dice up some onion. So onion is the basis of pretty much all paellas. So we'll do a fine dice of onion. So in Valencia, they'll be fairly particular of their paella, that it has to be served on a Sunday, and everybody has their own one, which is better than their own mother's is the best one, and there's big debates about it, like national debates, and
Just like your own mother's broth.
yes, totally, yes, and fights over who makes the best one, but it's a really, really lovely dish, and a great dish for sharing as well.
Yes.
So we've all been to Spain, and you see it in different places where they serve it with seafood and prawns, but traditionally it's served with the chicken or rabbit, and with the legumes, the beans and vegetables and stuff like that. And then the seafood one is a seafood moresco, is seafood. It's just prawns and mussels and clams.
And is there different regions of Spain that would serve more of one than another?
Well, Valencia is the home of it, but yeah, the more if you have the coast, you
Coastal.
get more seafood. But right in the centre of Valencia, it would just be
So a lot of sustainable ingredients then.
Yes, they're just using everything that they grow.
Yeah.
It's everything that they grow in
local fish then as well, or if they're inland, using the rabbit.
Yes, totally. Whatever they had.
Very good, yeah.
You know, that's all they had was rabbit or pork. They put pork into it as well. So keeping it traditional, but it's all about the rice. So we start off with, we have our pan, and we'll heat it up a bit. And we're going to use the beautiful olive oil. And then we have our carrot steaks. So we're going to treat these like an actual steak. And we're going to get some nice colour on it.
I've never seen this done before, so I'm intrigued to see what it'll be like.
So we're using the carrot as almost the protein of chicken or the piece of rabbit, or that we want to treat that, because we put so much effort and flavour into it from the stock, that we have some of the best produce here. These are the best carrots and flavour. So that's what we want. We want flavour, flavour, flavour. And then we will season the carrot generously with salt, with sea salt. So we want to get really good colour out of it. And you can smell that olive oil, the clean flavours of the olive oil. So in some restaurants in Spain where they're major olive oil grown, instead of, as well as your wine list, you'll get an olive oil list. So you can pick your olive oil and you get to taste it beforehand, like the wine, in a little glass.
Very good.
Then you can pick whatever olive oil you want to be served for that meal. So we have the beautiful saffron, the flavour of Spain, in the spice. It's one of the most expensive spices in the world because it's hand-picked from the crocus flower. And it's famous in Paella for giving it the orangey golden colour, the golden colour of almost like the Spain's national flag, of the yellow. So the carrots, we're getting nice and roasted and getting a caramelized colour. We want a bit of a crust on them, just like you do with a piece of beef. You get the nice crust. And like, this is a vegetarian dish, but you could easily add a piece of beef to it as well, the same way, cook it that same way, let it rest, and then reintroduce it back again. Okay. But it's another good way of not eating less beef, or meat and introducing more vegetables and making it
Introducing more
fun.
vegetables, making
Yeah,
it fun, yeah.
yeah. So it's nice and glazed and caramelized.
It reminds me of when you make soda bread, how you turn the farls to, isn't it called hardening? Or, yeah, to brown the sides of it?
Yes, so yeah, we just want colour. We want colour. So that the more the colour, you're adding more flavour. Do you know when you have roast carrots with your Sunday dinner, and you love the dark, edgy, caramelized bits are the best bits and all that, and that's what we're trying to do. And then this can be scaled up to as many people as you want. The bigger the pan you have, the better. As we were, there was a chef from Uruguay in the competition, the World Paella Championships in Valencia, and he was a really good chef. But they have in his country then in November they have the world's biggest paella in the world, cooking for 15,000 people. So they have big massive pan, or 5 big massive pans, and they had to put the rice in. They had to use a JCB's scooper to pour in all the rice.
Pour it in.
Yes.
Very good.
And they had like 15-foot paddles just to cook the rabbit and the chicken. It was amazing looking. So really,
yes,
really good
that's
colour.
fantastic.
And that's what we want. Nice caramelization. The carrots are nice and caramelized. We're going to leave them to the side. Let them rest while we finish off the rice. So they just be put to the side. Nice and glazed and caramelized. And then we're going to add our onion.
And Rob, in your Slemish Market Supper Club, you take a lot of influence from travel that you've done and other chefs that you've met
Yes.
to help inspire your dishes, but with using our local ingredients.
Yes, well you have to use get inspired from all the different dishes of the world. There's so much fantastic dishes all over the world that it's hard not to be inspired. But we have some of the best produce here, and I bring a lot of chefs from all over the world to the supper clubs, and they have to use their ingredients. That's their one stipulation.
You give them the challenge.
Yeah, and they love it. They actually have never seen stuff like Swedes and turnips and the different varieties of carrots and different lumper potatoes, different potatoes and all that, and they're amazed, and then they go back and tell everybody and show. So it's opening up. We're their experience, our culture and food, and bringing back stuff to their own restaurants to use as well. So it's about collaboration and using fantastic produce and to make wonderful dishes.
And I think it's remembering, some of the what you might call older vegetables, or
Yes,
traditional heritage ones. For example, the turnip you mentioned there, I've just recently fell in love with again. I've been cooking it, even if I'm in a hurry, very plainly in boiling water with rosemary in the pan. It just gives it a little bit of flavour.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's remembering dishes of old, and what your grandmother, your mother, or your aunties served, or sometimes they're forgotten dishes.
That's right.
We have a lot of forgotten dishes, and that somebody would know, and you reintroduce it, and then it brings back memories to people and all, and that's what food is: memories, and of happy memories, of happy thoughts, and
universal language as well.
yes, totally. So we're going to add. We have the rice nice and cooked down. Little tiny bit of colour in them, and it's really, really good. And then we're going to add our rice. So we have the bomba rice. We'll go into and coat it in the olive oil and the onions, almost like a risotto when you start off like that. But then that's it. So we're just trying to open up the pores of the rice. And then we're going to add our smoked paprika. And that just gives it a smoky background. Because originally our paellas in Valencia in Spain would be cooked on orange wood and olive wood to give that smokiness and it impacts the flavour on the rice.
It'd be really intense smell,
yes,
wouldn't it?
really intense smell.
The colour is fantastic.
The colour is, yeah.
In a matter of 1.5 minutes at the most.
Yes. So, next we have our carrot stock, and it's nice and warm, and we're just going to add the stock. We don't add any. And so we have the stock into the rice, so you can get the smells.
You can really smell the smoked paprika.
Yes, it really gives it a really smoky. We're going to add a little pinch of the saffron into the rice as well. A little bit of salt. And then we leave it just to cook away. So we don't, this is a paella pan or paella utensil that has the point at the end, and the point is to touch the density
of the rice.
Of the rice to
Very
see
good.
if it's sticking to the pan. So we want to make sauquerat. Sauquerat is the crispy base that every Valencian loves and craves and wants. So it's almost catching the rice at the end. The top half is nice and cooked, and the other part is just caramelized. So this point
It's the
is
tester.
It's
without
a tester.
disturbing it too
Yes.
much. Okay.
And you don't want to keep stirring the rice, because you'll release all the starch and it'll go creamy. And it's not about, that's a risotto. So the paella is all about the rice. It has to hold its shape. That's why the bomba rice, the barrel shape, that it soaks up all the stock. And so we'll let it cook away, and if it needs more stock, we add more stock, and if it needs more seasoning, we'll add more, but just not to stir it. So we have the paella here. The rice is after soaking up all the carrot stock, so it's nice and flavoursome, and each grain of rice is separate, so it's not clumped together and stodgy. It's all separate rice, all separate and individually cooked or individually flavoured with the rice. We have our carrot steaks that we've sealed off earlier, and we're going to take it off and cut it like you would with a steak. So we're going to cut it diagonally. So nice big pieces. And then we're going to place it back into the pan so it'll warm through. And just place it on top of the rice, or just press it down a little bit, so the residual heat of the rice will come through. And then we want to remember we were talking about the sauquerat. So that's the sticky rice bits. They're almost caramelized at the bottom. So for that, we turn up the heat to the highest, just for a minute and a half. So the rice almost catches the bottom. You can hear it crackling and sizzling. And that's the excess moisture from the rice, the bottom part of the rice, starting to catch the pan.
Just don't leave it alone.
just keep your eye on it all the time. So you can see the rice is starting to, my rice spoon is able to pull apart.
Oh yes.
And you can see a little caramelized.
Yeah.
So we'll give it 20 more seconds and then we'll pull it off. And then we're going to add some lemon and some parsley. So beautiful fresh parsley and just chopped just all over the paella. If the rice is a bit too al dente, add a little bit more stock, or if it's a little bit too salty, add a little bit of water into it as well and cook out again. But it's beautiful. And then we're going to lighten up the flavors by using some fresh lemon juice, and that will really accentuate.
And lovely to serve in the pan,
And
just as it is.
And it's served in the pan.
Yes.
Yes, totally.
Lovely.